The disappearance of Brandon Swanson. This was the last phone call Brandon Swanson ever made. It happened in May of 2008, just after midnight. At first, nothing about the call seemed urgent. By the end of it, Brandon had vanished, and the timeline has never been repaired. Brandon Swanson was 19 years old. He was a college student in Minnesota. He had just finished his first year. Friends described him as responsible, reliable, not reckless. He was not someone who disappeared without explanation. On the night of May 14th, Brandon attended a small gathering with friends. He left shortly after midnight. He planned to drive home. It was a route he had taken before. Nothing unusual was reported, but Brandon never arrived. At around 1:30 in the morning, Brandon called his parents. He told them his car was stuck. He believed he had driven into a ditch. He said he wasn't hurt. He sounded calm, almost embarrassed. He thought he knew where he was. Brandon told his parents he could see lights in the distance. He assumed they were from a nearby town. He decided to walk toward them. He stayed on the phone while he walked. His parents got in their car. They tried to meet him. As they spoke, confusion grew. Brandon described landmarks, roads, ditches. But when his parents reached the area Brandon believed he was in, he wasn't there. They couldn't see him, and he couldn't see them. Brandon kept walking. He talked casually. He joked. He said he was crossing fields. At one point, he mentioned water. He didn't sound alarmed. He didn't sound afraid. The call continued for over 40 minutes. Then, Brandon stopped talking. There was silence. His father asked if he was still there. Brandon replied with a single word, "Oh." The line went dead. That was the last time anyone heard from Brandon Swanson. Searches began later that morning. Authorities found his car. It was not where Brandon thought it was. He had been miles away. The terrain was unfamiliar, rural, uneven. Hundreds of volunteers searched the area. Fields, ditches, creeks. Nothing was found. No clothing, no phone, no signs of a struggle. There was no confirmed explanation for what happened after that final word. Investigators considered several possibilities: an accidental fall, exposure, drowning, but no physical evidence supported any single theory. Brandon's phone never reconnected to a tower. His body was never found. What makes this case different is the call, the length, the calmness, the silence at the end. Brandon was talking, then he wasn't. There was no scream, no warning, just one word. What did Brandon see when he said, "Oh"? Did he fall? Did he reach water? Did something else happen entirely? No one knows. More than a decade later, the case remains unsolved. No arrests have been made. No definitive answers exist. Brandon Swanson was never found. This was his last known moment. A phone call that ended without explanation. A timeline that stopped mid-sentence, and a disappearance that still has no ending.